This may come as a surprise, but the PlayStation 5 was officially revealed last April, nearly a whole 12 months ago, and since then details about Sony's next generation hardware have been painfully scarce. Rumours that began to circulate towards the tail end of 2019 suggested that an official reveal event would happen in February 2020, and unless I missed something really important, that doesn't seem to have happened. Please do let me know if I missed something though, because Sammy is not going to be happy if I did. But just because Sony have yet to throw Mark Cerny on a stage and forced him to talk about teraflops for half an hour, that doesn't mean we don't already know a huge amount of information about the next generation PlayStation. Hello, I'm Liam from Push Square, and this is everything we know about the PlayStation 5 so far. Before we embark on this wonderful journey of information together, if you could like this video and maybe subscribe, it would really help us out. So the majority of the following information comes from a pair of Wired articles published in both April and October 2019 respectively. Wired was the first publication to reveal the PlayStation 5's existence and remains to this day the only outlet that has seemingly had hands-on access to the console. As a result, I'm going to be referencing them a lot throughout the course of this video. So let's start with the absolute basics. The console is officially called the PlayStation 5. Now I know that might sound like a silly thing to have to clarify, but well, it feels necessary when certain other console manufacturers can't seem to stick with a consistent naming convention. Not saying any particular names there. Here's the logo. It's beautiful. Although no official release date has been given just yet, Sony have confirmed that the console will launch holiday 2020. The PlayStation 4 released in the latter half of November 2014, so I wouldn't be surprised if the PlayStation 5 followed suit and released in the same month. We're still not sure how much it's gonna cost, but lead system architect and Nat's dad, Mark Cerny, has stated, quote, "I believe that we will be able to release it at an SRP, that's suggested retail price, that will be appealing to gamers in light of its advanced feature set." It's hard to discern an exact number from this comment, but I assume something in between $399 and $499 seems likely based on the launch cost of previous systems. Rumours that have recently been circulating suggest that the console may retail closer to the $500 mark, however, as Sony are apparently struggling to secure a consistent supply of essential components. DRAM and NAND flash memory are in high demand thanks to its inclusion in next generation smartphones, and their prices have shot up in response. However, I'd personally take this rumour with a grain of salt. It's very common for console manufacturers to sell their systems at a loss, especially at launch when the manufacturing process has yet to be made more efficient. It's within Sony's best interest to get the PlayStation 5 into the hands of consumers as quickly as possible, so they can start making money from games and online services. Considering how much money the PlayStation Network makes, selling the PS5 for a bit less than it costs to make wouldn't be the worst decision in the world. Alternatively, they could do the same thing they did with the PlayStation 3 and say, hey, if you really want this very expensive console, you'll have to work a second job in order to afford it. The PlayStation 3 reveal was wild. This little monster is a PlayStation 5 development kit. Don't worry, development kits very rarely reflect the final retail design of a system, so there's a very low chance you'll be planting one of these underneath your TV come November. We don't know what the PlayStation 5 will look like just yet, but if we were to hazard a guess, it'll probably end up looking something a little like this. So when will the PlayStation 5 officially be unveiled? It's kind of difficult to say. All of us here at Push Square headquarters were expecting the event to occur in February, but with Sony remaining deviously silent about the console, it seems like the company is holding back until they feel the time is right. If the cost of the PS5 is indeed rising behind closed doors, it's likely that Sony's tactic is to simply wait and see what Microsoft have planned for the Xbox Series X first, before adjusting the cost accordingly in order to retail for less. The issue is that it seems Microsoft has exactly the same idea, hence this excruciating stalemate we're all currently wallowing in. I'd imagine an event is scheduled for March or April, but with Sony missing E3 for the second year in a row, it really does feel like the ball is in their court right now. I just hope they announce something soon, because the anticipation is killing me. We may not know all of the specifics just yet, but Mark Cerny's interview with Wired revealed a substantial amount of information regarding the inner workings of the PlayStation 5. Its CPU is, quote, based on the third generation of AMD's Ryzen line and contains 8 cores of the company's new 7nm Zen 2 microarchitecture. Now, this might sound like nonsense, and let's face it, it is. So let me break this down a little bit for you. AMD's Ryzen CPU offers a substantial upgrade compared to the PS4's CPU, which used AMD's Jaguar architecture. The CPU is responsible for processing artificial intelligence, animation, and the behavior of NPCs, among many other components of a video game. So we can expect more complex simulated worlds on Sony's next-gen system as a result of the upgrade. The PS5's GPU, that's the bit that handles the graphics, is a variant of Radeon's Navi family, and once again looks to offer a huge improvement over the PS4 and the PS4 Pro. The most interesting thing we've learned about this mysterious graphics processor is that it's reportedly capable of producing hardware-accelerated ray tracing. Ray tracing is the new hotness that's getting PC gamers all sweaty underneath their mouse mats at the moment, with modern cards offering gamers the opportunity to enhance their games with realistic reflections alongside improved lighting and shadow effects. A graphics card that can effectively handle ray tracing on a PC isn't cheap, so the inclusion of a card capable of producing the same effects on a home console is an exciting proposition. Interestingly, Chief Studio Officer for EA, Laura Mile, really sorry if I've mispronounced your name there, Laura, stated, quote, "We're seeing the GPU be able to power machine learning for all sorts of really interesting advancements in the gameplay and other tools." That sounds to me like the advanced capabilities of the GPU will have benefits that go far beyond fancy lighting and more realistic shadows. A 3D audio chip will reportedly offer a next-generation leap in terms of immersive sound design for those with high-quality surround sound setups or a solid pair of headphones, which is quite exciting. Finally, Sony confirmed that the PS5 will feature an extremely fast SSD hard drive. SSDs have been included within budget laptops for a while now, but their inclusion in a home console is an exciting new addition. SSDs are much faster than the traditional style of disk-based hard drives that are currently found in the PS4. To demonstrate the benefits of a dedicated SSD, Sony showed a comparison between Insomniac's Spider-Man running on both a PS4 and a PS5. On a PS4, fast travel took 15 seconds to load. On a PS5, the loading screen lasted for only an eighth of a second. That is quite the comparison. Alongside shorter loading times, the addition of an SSD has tangible benefits to the way video games are stored and distributed as well. Data can be accessed immediately from an SSD, meaning developers don't have to rely on the practice of duplicating commonly used assets throughout the application in order to ensure their games load quicker. So this could potentially lead to either smaller installation sizes for games or free up space for developers to pack more into their titles without having to worry about the size limitations of current hardware. It also seems like the possibility that the PS5 will allow you to install certain elements of a game in order to save on storage space. So let's say you're done with the campaign of the latest Call of Duty. In theory, the PS5 will allow you to delete it, but keep the multiplayer portion installed. It's a fascinating possibility, one that may prove essential, seeing as external storage may not be as easy to come by as it is with the PS4 currently, thanks to the switch to a more specialized and expensive SSD solution. At this point, you're probably thinking, Liam, all this nerd stuff about cores and threads is great and all, but what games will I be able to play on my shiny new PS5? Well, let me tell you all about it in a separate video. We have a dedicated video on the channel all about PS5 games. We cover which games have been announced, which have been rumoured. It's a very in-depth video. There's a lot to cover, so we've left it out of this, but you can go find that on our channel. It's good stuff. You'll enjoy it, I'm sure. The PS5 will contain a disc drive that will read 4K Blu-rays, so you can finally watch those 4K movies you've been saving up, and games will be printed on 100GB optical discs. 100 gigabytes. Sony may have confirmed that the PS5 will be fully compatible with both physical and digital PlayStation 4 titles, which makes sense as both systems share similar architecture, but the company is remaining silent on rumours that claim that the system will also be backwards compatible with the PS3, PS2 and PS1 library of games. PlayStation 3 compatibility seems unlikely. seeing as the system was incredibly complicated and is difficult to emulate as a result, but there's nothing to suggest that PS2 and PS1 emulation isn't possible. With other systems boasting backwards compatibility as standard, it would be a great addition to the console. Still, your entire PS4 backlog available to play straight out of the box? That's a great launch lineup. As for PlayStation VR, Sony has confirmed that the current PSVR headset and all compatible games will work on the PS5, but remained quiet when asked about a successor to the popular headset. A next-gen VR headset seems more than likely at this stage, and I wouldn't be surprised if it played a prominent part in the console's imminent reveal. Both PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now will be compatible with PS5, meaning your subscriptions to both services will carry over to your new system without any issues. It seems likely that, with the launch of the PlayStation 5, PS Plus will begin giving us games for both the PS4 and the PS5, as this is what happened with the launch of the PS4. As for PlayStation Now, Sony recently changed the model of the service to bring it a little bit more in line with similar offerings, such as Xbox Game Pass. They could have plans to improve it further for next gen, especially with other companies focusing on offering streaming services, and I wouldn't be surprised if Sony emphasizes its ability to stream across devices as one of its main selling points in order to compete with Google Stadia and Microsoft's xCloud platforms. One of the most exciting reveals about the PlayStation 5 so far is the upcoming controller revision referred to as the DualShock 5. Reportedly a little heavier and a little chunkier than a DualShock 4, the controller will come equipped with both a USB-C charging port and, finally, larger batteries. Best of all, and I am really excited about this bit, it will feature haptic feedback functionality, which will allow developers to simulate subtle movements and textures through precise vibrations within the controller. For instance, the Wired article details how the controller can simulate the feeling of walking through sand, mud, and ice, and how driving in Gran Turismo feels completely different when scooting over tarmac compared to gravel. The triggers will also be adaptive, meaning developers can apply differing levels of pressure to them. One example given is using a bow and arrow and having the trigger tense up as you pull the bow's string back. If you've ever played on a Nintendo Switch and you've experienced the HD rumble that lies in the heart of these little Joy-Cons, you should have a fairly good idea of what to expect from the DualShock 5. The thought of playing huge PlayStation exclusives like the rumoured Horizon Zero Dawn 2, the controller simulating the tension of your bow and the feeling of scrambling down a dusty mountain path is so exciting. The level of immersion this technology could offer to PlayStation gamers could be a real game changer. So there we have it, a comprehensive overview of everything we know about the PlayStation 5 so far. Are you excited for the PlayStation 5 to be revealed? What would you like to see included in Sony's next generation hardware? Let us know in the comments below. I would love to hear what you think. For all of the latest information about the PlayStation 5, make sure to check out our website. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and make sure to subscribe to Push Square for everything PlayStation. I'll be back as soon as Sony decide to announce this reveal event. Whenever you're ready, Sony.